An Italian New Yorker who conquered Hollywood with his charisma and acting. People used to call him a gutter rat and other unflattering nicknames, but now no one doubts his skill. Al Pacino is an American actor who became a star thanks to his role in the Godfather trilogy. Why did he want to get rid of his Italian name? What did Francis Ford Coppola find in him that others didn't see? Why did he get arrested, and why did he never get married? We will tell you about this and much more in our new video.
About me, what do you think? Think I'm kind of interesting?
How I look?
Al Pacino, how the main mobster and the Godfather of Hollywood lives.
That's a true story.
Alfredo James Pacino was born on April 25, 1940 in East Harlem, New York City. His mother and father, Rose Salvatore, had Italian roots and married very young. He was 20, she was barely 17. Neither common background nor the birth of a baby saved this hasty marriage, and soon the young parents separated. Salvatore traveled to California while 2-year-old Alfredo stayed with his mother in New York. They went to live with Rose's parents in the South Bronx. His mom often took him to a local movie theater, and in the afternoon, the boy would retell the stories he watched to his grandmother. This is how he developed an interest in the cinema. But before he could finish elementary school, he became interested in other things. The South Bronx still had a bad reputation, and the mid-20th century marked its lowest point. Loitering on the streets, Pacino tried his first cigarette at the age of 9, and at 13 began drinking and dabbling in illegal substances. Curiously, he and his buddies got their alcohol from none other than a police officer who served in their neighborhood. However, the actor remembered him fondly, saying that he was a great guy and looked after the kids, so that they didn't get into big trouble. He couldn't keep some of them out of harm's way. 2 close friends of Alfredo died from overdose, and that's what made him stay clear of heavy drugs. However, he was the instigator of fights and one of the main troublemakers at school. All in all, the boy had little interest in studying, and in the final grade, he failed all exams except English. This was preceded by dreams of becoming a professional baseball player, and after seeing a production of Chekhov's The Seagull, he started dreaming of acting. The play started, and then it was over. It was magical, Al Pacino recalled. The boy immediately got a book of stories by Chekhov, completely abandoned the idea of finishing school, which caused the righteous anger of his mother, and left home following his dream. A harsh reality immediately struck the young man head-on. He crashed at his friends' houses, often sleeping on the streets, or if he was lucky, in theaters, and took any job he could get. He worked as a delivery guy, a shoe salesman, a supermarket monitor, a shoe cleaner, a janitor, a loader, a waiter, a newspaper man, and even a fresh fruit polisher. A passionate opera fan, Pacino once worked as an usher at Carnegie Hall. He was quickly fired from his job as a ticket taker at the theater, as he says, for admiring himself in the mirrored staircase. In the 60s, the young actor began to perform in the New York underground theater scene. He and a friend acted out skits in public places, after which they let a donation hat go around. He later joined Herbert Berghoff's studio. There was also a phase of stand-up comedy in his life, but as Al Pacino complains, no one believes that. During the same period, the guy experienced several losses at once. When he was 21 years old, his mother died. Before he could recover, his grandfather, who was like a father to the guy, passed away. The celebrity admitted it was the darkest period of his life when he felt lost. But even then, Alfredo didn't give up his dream, and time after time tried out in the actor's studio in Manhattan. Finally, in 1966, he successfully auditioned and began the course of legendary Lee Strasberg. During the first weeks of training, he already got roles on the screen and in the theater. However, they were episodic and virtually unpaid. The plays generated a somewhat modest income of $125 per week. That's when the actor came up with a pseudonym, shortening Alfredo to Al. In fact, he had previously considered changing his name to Sonny Scott so that his Italian background wouldn't be so conspicuous, especially because Sonny was his childhood nickname. In 1969, Pacino won a Tony Award for his role in a Broadway play, and then he got his first role in the feature film melodrama Me, Natalie. In 1971, Al Pacino played his first major role in the drama The Panic in Needle Park. It is a complex movie that deals with heavy themes, and it was the movie that made the actor fall in love with the works of Francis Ford Coppola, who couldn't imagine anyone else for the role of Michael Corleone in The Godfather.
You know my father. Men are coming here to kill him. You understand? Now help me, please.
The producers of this gangster drama suggested giving the role of Corleone Jr. to Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, or Robert Redford, but Coppola adamantly rejected all candidates and insisted on Al Pacino. The actor passed one audition after another. The director was satisfied, and producers couldn't figure out what Coppola found in a young Italian guy from the Bronx. This midget Pacino, dirty little gutter rat. That's what the movie bosses called him. He himself was ready to give it all up because, as the actor said, "I do not want to go where I'm not welcome." He did get the part, but he was always afraid of being fired, and the producers kept asking, when will he finally start acting? They realized the genius of the director's idea only at the moment when they saw the scene in which Michael Corleone kills the police captain. It seems like the role of the Godfather's son was created for Al Pacino, with his Sicilian roots, and his grandparents came from a town called Corleone. Michael's brothers' names also allude to the actor's life. Fredo is an abbreviation of his real name, Alfredo, and Sonny is his childhood nickname. On the set, Pacino was shy as a kid in front of Marlon Brando. He couldn't believe that he was playing together with a man he'd seen only on movie screens since childhood. But this had no effect on his acting, and the success of The Godfather was immediate. The movie, which showed the underbelly of the mafia world, gained the admiration of millions of viewers around the world, and Pacino became famous overnight. Before the premiere, the actor was nearly broke and even owed the studio $15,000, so he had to deduct this amount from his fee of $35,000. And after the premiere, he suddenly found himself in the spotlight. To cope with this drastic transition, Pacino decided to seek professional help. He attended counseling sessions 5 days a week and kept working on himself for the next 25 years. Al Pacino never liked to publicize his personal life, but his affairs with actresses made it impossible to hide it. He dated Jill Clayburgh for 5 years, but fell in love with Diane Keaton on the set of The Godfather. This relationship was unstable. The actors were dating on and off, and during breaks, Pacino took comfort in the arms of actress Tuesday Weld, socialite Carmen Cervera, and other beauties. Meanwhile, Al's role in The Godfather was honored with BAFTA, Golden Globe, and Oscar nominations, but Al Pacino was not present at the main movie award ceremony. He was offended that he was nominated in the supporting actor category even though he had the most screen time in the movie. By the way, his colleague Marlon Brando also refused to come, but for ideological and political reasons. In 1973, the actor appeared in the drama Scarecrow and biographical crime thriller Serpico. Interestingly enough, to prepare for the former, Al Pacino pretended to be a hobo and hitchhiked all over California. And on the set of Serpico, he got so into the role of a police officer so much that at one point, returning from filming, he threatened to find some driver.
What are you, obligated to those guys? It. They left you whole in the bag. You don't owe them nothing. They're gonna put you away, you know that?
The film earned him his second BAFTA and Oscar nominations, as well as a Golden Globe Award. In 1974, the celebrity reprised his role of Michael Corleone in the sequel to The Godfather. However, he caused a lot of problems to the creators of the movie. He demanded an increase in salary and got a $500,000 fee, plus 10% of the box office. Over time, this has resulted in tens of millions in bonus revenue. The actor also insisted on making changes to the script, so Francis Ford Coppola worked around the clock on the story to get production up and running in time. As a result, Al Pacino's acting work was honored with Golden Globe and Oscar nominations, this time in the lead male category.
Was to try to think as people around you think. Now, on that basis, anything's possible.
Another crime drama, Dog Day Afternoon, about bank robber Sonny came out next. Interestingly enough, the phone call scene was completely improvised by Al Pacino and Chris Sarandon.
Who's this?
This is Detective Sergeant Eugene Moretti, that's all. We got you completely by the balls. You don't believe me? I'm looking you right in the eye. Right now I can see it.
Who is it? Cops.
After the premiere, the actor again was noticed by the major movie awards. It won the San Sebastian and BAFTA awards, as well as Golden Globe and Oscar nominations. In 1977, the actor portrayed the titular car racer in the film Bobby Deerfield.
You don't think about dying.
But when you race, there's always the danger, no?
Well, you don't think about danger.
But you move with such speed.
You don't think about speed.
Before filming, he watched documentaries and newsreels about the races, talked to professionals, and followed a strict physical training schedule. Notably, before filming, Pacino couldn't even drive a car, and he had to take lessons in driving a race car. But in the racing scenes, he was replaced by a professional anyway, Brazilian Formula One driver José Carlos Paci. Sadly, he died shortly before the release of the movie, so it was dedicated to his memory. A passionate relationship between Al Pacino and Martha Keller began on the set, although at first they constantly quarreled and snapped at each other. That relationship lasted a couple years, but the former lovers still remained friends. For his role, Pacino received a Golden Globe nomination. A little later, the celebrity appeared in 4 episodes of the miniseries The Godfather, a novel for television, and in 1979 presented the legal drama And Justice for All.
Why is everyone so preoccupied with death?
I'm not usually preoccupied with it, but this certainly seems like a valid time, wouldn't you say?
As usual, the film was a success and brought Pacino a fee of $1.5 million, an award at the festival in Carlovivari, and nominations for the Golden Globe and Oscar. To prepare for this role, the actor talked to lawyers, read a lot about the legal system, and went to court hearings. He liked that part of the preparation, but he didn't want to memorize lines, so he often improvised. He wasn't always good at it, and the scene in the coffee shop with Jack Warden was only shot on the 26th take. They say Warden drank so much milk that he threw up. Lee Strasberg, who taught the actor in his youth, and who also starred in And Justice for All, even once exclaimed, "Al, you dumbass, learn your lines." Many years later, Pacino recognized that it was wise advice after all. By the way, Strasberg taught the actor to stay in character even off the set. Al Pacino ended the 70s with a 2-year relationship with actress Kathleen Quinlan, and the 80s began for him with harsh criticism of the gay community, who considered the crime thriller Cruising homophobic. Protesters tried to prevent filming, although Pacino assured that he didn't find anything offensive in the script. During preparation, he visited BDSM gay bars with the director to show this world on screen more realistically. But the result of their work was disappointing. The movie barely broke even, and the reviews from the audience and critics at the time of its release were worse than ever. However, as time went on, the film gained more favorable reception. Al Pacino's next project, the family melodrama Author, was also met with poor reviews from critics. At the same time, the Golden Globe jury appreciated Al's work and nominated him in the category of Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical. In 1983, Pacino played a lead role in the crime drama Scarface.
I never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming. You got that? All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
The shooting wasn't easy for him. First, he had to develop a Cuban accent, and then he had to inhale milk powder that mimicked the illegal powder. Because of this, the actor began to have problems with his nose, and he ruined his respiratory system for many years to come. And in addition, Al received a severe burn, grabbing the muzzle of a machine gun after firing blanks. The damage was so severe that production of the movie had to be suspended for several weeks. His role earned the actor a nomination for a Golden Globe, and the film itself collected a good box office and eventually acquired a cult status. Pacino's next movie, the historical war drama Revolution, was coldly received by the public. The filming was literally cold, too, and Al caught pneumonia. At the same time, the producers blamed him for the box office failure. It hit a nerve, and the actor left the screens for 4 years. During this time, he was performing on theater stages and unsuccessfully attempted to make a biographical film about Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani. In addition, Al Pacino produced and starred in the film adaptation of the play The Local Stigmatic. The celebrity invested his own money in the production, but the movie was shown only in 1990 at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Since then, there have been only a few screenings with the personal permission of Pacino himself, and the movie was released worldwide only in 2007. Besides, there are several versions of the movie as Al continued to edit and re-edit it. And that said, the filming only took 9 days. Meanwhile, the man had a short-lived fling with acting teacher Jan Tarrant. They had a daughter, Julia, but that didn't keep them from breaking up. Years passed outside the cinema, and suddenly Pacino accumulated unpaid taxes. His mortgage came due, and he was one step away from bankruptcy. And once he met a fan while walking through Central Park in Manhattan, and the fan begged the actor to return to the screens. That's when Al realized that he was lucky to be popular and he should take advantage of it. His return to the industry was helped by his longtime sweetheart, Diane Keaton. She was the one who convinced Pacino to star in the neo-noir thriller Sea of Love, which came out in 1989.
For 20 years, I go out with people, right? I tell them I'm a cop. You know what happens? I'm a non-person. What do you think I put the ad in the paper for?
Interestingly enough, the script was written with the intention to have Dustin Hoffman, but he demanded too many changes, and so the main role went to Al Pacino, who was less picky. And in the scene on Fifth Avenue, where the main character tries to apologize to the girl, the man who roughly shoved the actor away was a random passerby. But Pacino played so well, they decided to leave the scene unchanged. He ended up earning another Golden Globe nomination. Al Pacino broke up with Keaton for good, and in the early 90s began dating Australian director Lyndall Hobbs. They were madly in love with each other and loved hosting lavish parties with celebrities. Even the current King of the United Kingdom, then Prince Charles, was among the guests. Pacino also once came to visit him at Highgrove House. Al broke up with Lyndall in 1997, as she wanted to have a child and he rejected the idea. Meanwhile, the actor has returned to his usual gangster persona. First, he starred in the comic book action film Dick Tracy, which earned him nominations for BAFTA, Golden Globe, Oscar, and other awards. And then The Godfather Part 3 was released.
I ordered the death of my brother. He injured me. I killed my mother's son.
The actor requested a fee of $7 million, which infuriated Francis Ford Coppola immensely. He threatened to write a new script beginning with Michael Corleone's funeral, at which point Pacino agreed to $5 million. The Golden Globe noticed the celebrity's work as well, nominating him in the Best Actor in a Drama category. By the way, he refused to voice the video game of the same name. In 1991, the melodrama Frankie and Johnny was released. Its filming took place next to the Star Trek pavilions, and in one of the scenes where Pacino had to portray surprise, opening the door, behind it he saw Kirk and Spock. The actor's surprise was genuine. A year later, the drama film Glengarry Glen Ross premiered, the role in which brought Al Pacino $1.5 million and Golden Globe and Oscar nominations for his supporting role. Al Pacino did get the awards in the top male categories at these ceremonies. The long-awaited Academy Award recognition came for the role in the drama Scent of a Woman.
Are we going someplace, Colonel?
What business is that of yours? Don't shrug, you imbecile. I'm blind. Save your body language for the bimbi.
The actor was preparing for the role in The School for the Blind and, according to him, trying to look blind, he tried not to focus his eyes on anything. The tango scene was rehearsed for 2 weeks, and its shooting took 3 days. In 1993, Pacino earned $6 million for his role in the crime film Carlito's Way, and then the audience saw him in 2 more crime films, Heat and City Hall, as well as in the comedy drama 2 Bits. Incidentally, on the set of Carlito's Way, Al had a brief fling with co-star Penelope Ann Miller, although he was still in a relationship with Lyndall Hobbs. In between, the artist received special awards at the Venice and San Sebastian festivals for his contribution to world cinema and outstanding personal achievements. In 1996, during a flight to New York, the man met actress Beverly D'Angelo. He did break up with Hobbs because of her, and Beverly, in turn, divorced her husband. Al almost immediately declared that he wanted her to be the mother of his children, and she, never having aspired to it, agreed. In 2001, they had twins, Anton James and Olivia Rose. However, having children didn't help Pacino and D'Angelo to avoid a breakup in 2003. At the same time, the celebrity considered fatherhood to be the best thing that happened in his life. His work schedule was always designed so that he could spend as much time as possible with his children. Meanwhile, in 1997, the audience saw the striking duo of Al Pacino and Johnny Depp in the biographical crime drama Donnie Brasco. And then he starred in the supernatural thriller The Devil's Advocate, which is considered by many critics to be one of the best roles of the actor. Except that he managed to reject the project 5 times, and it was originally planned as a blockbuster with a lot of special effects. Only when the script was rewritten, Pacino got interested, but he still didn't believe in his own abilities and offered to give the role of Milton to Robert Redford or Sean Connery. Nevertheless, the creators of The Devil's Advocate wanted to get Al Pacino, and Keanu Reeves even refused part of the fee to give it to the distinguished co-star.
I have so many names. See. Call me Dad.
The following works of the celebrity also received recognition. They were the psychological drama The Insider, the sports film Any Given Sunday, and the drama Chinese Coffee. In 2001, the artist received another award for his contribution to cinema, this time at the Golden Globe Awards. In 2002, Al Pacino appeared in the crime drama People I Know, psychological thriller Insomnia, and, which was very unusual for him, in satirical science fiction movie Simone. The actor called the role in the latter one of his favorites in his career, and his earnings amounted to $11 million.
Simone, a star is digitized. Do you know what this means? We have stepped into a new dimension.
The next few years failed to expand the filmography of our hero with cult films. Only the miniseries Angels in America has earned prestigious movie awards, including the Screen Actors Guild Award, Emmy, and Golden Globe Awards. The most prominent of his roles in this period was the 2007 heist comedy Ocean's 13.
The last time I looked, and I look every morning, it was my name listed as owner on more valuable property in this state than anyone else in history.
Which means you got a lot more to lose.
Well, I don't lose.
The director of the movie, Steven Soderbergh, wanted only Al Pacino to play the role of a ruthless casino owner, Willie Bank, and to make it easier for the star, all the scenes with him were filmed in just 3 weeks. But the work in the next project, crime thriller Righteous Kill, made Al Pacino regret agreeing to it. Neither he nor his colleague Robert De Niro were satisfied with the end result, and they both would prefer to forget about it. At the same time, the man started a new romantic relationship with Argentine actress Lucila Sola. Not counting a short break, they were together for almost 10 years, during which Al became friends with his lover's daughter. She considered Pacino a stepfather and consulted with him about launching her acting career. The 2010 biographical film You Don't Know Jack was more successful and added Emmy, SAG, and Golden Globe Awards to Pacino's collection. The Venice Film Festival celebrated the star's contribution to cinema for the second time with a special award. By the way, You Don't Know Jack was Al Pacino's first joint project with HBO. They signed a multi-year contract that guarantees the actor a flat fee of $10 million for any feature film for the channel. A year later, Pacino presented another crime thriller, The Son of No One, in which he replaced Robert De Niro, and then he appeared in an offbeat comedic role in Adam Sandler's movie Jack and Jill. The experience was unsuccessful. The actor received a Golden Raspberry Anti-Award in the category Worst Male Actor in a Supporting Role. His next films were not very prominent, but quite diverse, touching and sad biographical dramas, crime films, a biblical story, and a dramedy about love beyond age, The Humbling. By the way, the latter was filmed intermittently to adjust to Al Pacino's work schedule. The man had been dating Israeli actress Maytel Doan since 2018. His beloved was 36 years younger than him, and that age difference caused their breakup. The girl admitted that she had been denying the challenges associated with it for a long time, but they ended up having a huge fight and split in 2020. Not long before that, in 2019, the actor appeared in Tarantino's comedy drama film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a supporting role, as well as in one of the lead roles in Scorsese's gangster saga, The Irishman.
Was this the altercation you had in the cab?
Yeah, it was something like this. We got to arm wrestling. He lost.
I lost. You should see his ribs.
His co-star was Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and the actor's fee amounted to a record sum of $20 million. Notably, the health of the elderly actors had to be constantly monitored. One of the scenes in which 78-year-old Al Pacino rises from the chair even had to be reshot because it was obvious how difficult it was for him. This was a problem because he played a character much younger than himself. The Irishman brought Pacino nominations for the Screen Actors Guild Award, BAFTA, Golden Globe, and Oscar. In 2020, the celebrity began starring in the series Hunters, for which he was again nominated for a Golden Globe. After that, he appeared in the anti-war drama American Traitor: The Trial of Axis Sally and the biographical film House of Gucci. Meanwhile, there were changes in his personal life. The man began dating young producer Noor Al-Fallah. The age difference between them was 53 years. In June 2023, they had a son, Roman, but soon after the parents of the boy separated. The baby remained with the mother, and the father pledged to pay $30,000 monthly in child support. In addition, Al made a one-time payment of $110,000 and will transfer $15,000 each year for his son's education. In 2023, the actor appeared in the thriller Knox Goes Away, and the dramas In the Hand of Dante, Billy Knight, Modi, and Killing Castro will be released soon. There are also plans to make horror The Trap and an adaptation of Shakespeare's King Lear. By the way, Al Pacino is an avid fan of William Shakespeare, and Hamlet is his favorite play. The actor admitted that he learned the most about acting not even from Lee Strasberg, but from his friend John Cazale. Moreover, the celebrity keeps learning from his young colleagues and hopes to do so forever. However, he's not drawn to directing at all. Al Pacino names The Tree of Wooden Clogs and Singin' in the Rain as his favorite films, and his favorite actress is the British performer Julie Christie. He admitted that her performance in the 1965 movie Darling had a great influence on him and inspired him to become an actor. Pacino appreciates his popularity, but at the same time he gets tired of it. He can't remember the last time he was able to walk down the street, go to the grocery store, or take the subway in peace. He's particularly frustrated that it's hard for his kids to go outside with him. The man never sought marriage, preferring to remain a perpetual Hollywood bachelor. He even once said he was married to filmmaking. However, he doesn't deny that anything could happen in his life. Although the celebrity has made a career out of crime movies, he himself has only been arrested once, and that was by mistake. At age 20, he was charged with concealed carry of a weapon, but was released when it was proven that the gun found in his car was a movie prop. The man had been suffering from chronic insomnia for many years and was a very heavy smoker. In the mid-80s, he was smoking 4 packs a day, but he quit the bad habit to keep his voice. Now Al only occasionally smokes herbal cigarettes. Another addiction that Pacino managed to overcome was alcoholism. From the beginning of his career, he would drink after performances or at the end of a shooting day as a reward. It became a problem, and finally, thanks to friends, the actor made the decision to start a sober life. Now, after workdays, he started rewarding himself with ice cream or Oreo cookies. Now, Al Pacino's net worth is estimated at $120 million. His fortune is growing not only due to movies, but also thanks to advertising contracts, albeit few. For example, the celebrity starred in Amazon Prime TV and Jeep Grand Cherokee commercials. He also starred in a promotion for the Empire State Relief Fund for Hurricane Sandy for free. A native New Yorker, Pacino owns several properties in his home state. His main residence on the East Coast appears to be in the Palisades and is over 3 acres. The house was built in 1971 and was bought by the actor in 1979 for $375,000 and is now worth much more. Nearby, the actor owned a 2-story country-style house, but sold it in 2013 for $3.3 million. In New York City itself, Hollywood's top mobster had several apartments in prestigious high-rises. One was located near Central Park, and it looked pretty minimalist. Pacino sold it in 2018 for $2.6 million. On the West Coast, Al rented a Beverly Hills mansion with a pool and tennis courts in the backyard for more than 10 years. Even after the change of ownership, the actor was able to keep living there, but has now apparently moved out after all. Al Pacino owns some impressive vehicles. The most expensive car in his collection is a Rolls-Royce Phantom, but there is also a relatively inexpensive Cadillac CTS. He also owns 2 SUVs, a Lexus, and a Range Rover Sport.
Well, that's good. That makes me feel good.
Which movie with this Hollywood legend is your favorite?